Mhm. Hello, dear starshines. Christina here. Let's see if I got the camera right. All right. So I haven't gone live on this channel spontaneously for quite some time. Normally, you guys are seeing me in the chat on Thursdays. So for those of you who aren't familiar with who I am, my name is Christina, and I am an acceleration expert that does chats every Thursday, answering questions and concerns about topics and issues that are significant for us star seeds, way showers, and new paradigm visionaries. I had a really, really excellent question come in in a comment to the chat that I did on Thursday. And there's a lot of questions or a lot of comments coming in, and I feel like this particular one is a really great question, and I feel like it was going to get lost amongst all the other big stuff that's piling up as far as potential topics to talk about on Thursday. So I want to address this one right away while it was in my brain. Okay. And this is from Dear Sister Starshine. You know who you are. So she wants to know, does one need to dig deep, say, into the satanic abuse of our children, the banking system, the Federal Reserve history, and the cabal ran medical system? Like, I have a friend who makes a collective broad statement, the system is collapsing and only God will make it right after Armageddon. She's going through life very happy and blissful. These last 3 years for me was been intense, where I'm going down going all down these rabbit holes. I've cried many nights to my pillow to see I cried many nights in my pillow to see how deviant humanity has gotten. So is it better to broad statement our humanity like she does and be happier that way? If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Why do we need to dig to ascend? Now, there are so many very deep points here that are important for all of us to be aware of. When I say us, I'm talking about those of us who are on the awakening journey as multidimensional sovereign human beings. Okay. This is a journey of, we've gone through much of our life having spiritual experiences as a human. And then somewhere the scales started to tip, and we started realizing inside of ourselves, reconnecting with a part of ourselves that's infinite. And we started to relating to our experiences as an infinite being having human experiences. Okay, so we're going away from a human having a spiritual experience into spirit having a human experience. Okay, and this drastically changes our perspective on these pieces. So I would say the friend that's waiting for Armageddon to come, this is a Christian teaching. Well, it's also a Judeo-Christian teaching, and I think Islam also has a similar narrative going on. And these are all narratives that were created for as a control system. This is the all three of these religions use the same ancient text as its foundation, which is the uh, narratives written by a being named Yahweh. Okay, so these are Anunnaki narratives, Anunnaki value systems inserted into the human psyche. Now, Christianity has the New Testament, where Jesus comes into scene, and the church has edited a certain narration of what Jesus's life was and teachings were. Now, as a default, humans resonate with Christed consciousness in our heart. We resonate with a Christed consciousness, but that has been turned and twisted into the religion that it is. And how we know it was twisted and demented is that that religion, that book, those books plural, were used to terrorize and persecute, colonize the First Nations of this world, starting in Europe. The Germanians getting conquered, the Celts getting conquered. Okay, so this particular agenda has been getting, this colonization agenda, this predator mind agenda has been getting populated all around the planet. Now, many people who consider themselves devoutly religious in any one of these categories may be very insulted by what I'm saying here, but this message is not for you. This messages are for those people that have connected deep inside of themselves and their infinite nature, and have a uncorruptible connection to who they are as infinite beings, and we see ourselves as having human experiences here. Okay, this is one. That's the baby steps towards being a multidimensional sovereign being in a body on this planet at this time. Okay, we stick true to ourselves. We know what the truth is inside, and we live by with impeccability to the best of our ability by that. Okay. Now, as part of that, we wake up to the level of interdimensional inception that has been going on this planet, that has been a part of the control systems of this planet for a very long time. So, unfortunately, that means we need to recognize the mechanisms that have been used to insert subconscious control over the hearts and minds of humanity. Okay, so this is silent agreements. This is vows stored in our Akasha. These are contracts. These are what I call Akashic constructs that keep us in a particular frame up of repeating the pattern over and over again every time we reincarnate. So the short answer is yes, we need to go down these rabbit holes, but we do that not to suffer. We do that so we can address the mechanisms, the subconscious mechanisms that hook us in to those consciousness grids, that hook us in to these control systems. And as we use our ability as infinite beings having human experience, bringing compassion, forgiveness, our ability to transmute, okay, these energies inside of us, because many of us participated in these control systems over many hundreds of thousands of years. Hence, you have memories of being part of the Lemurian culture, have memories of being part of the Atlantean culture. Okay, that's just the most recent 15,000 years, but it goes much further back than that. Those memories are indicating that we've been incarnating in these control systems for quite some time, and we've been involved in them. And those memories are in our Akasha. So we need to go down these rabbit holes to get us in touch with the parts of us inside that are still in agreement to participating subconsciously in those patterns. So, okay, and then we can choose to allow them to come full circle, transmute, transform those relationships. And in that, we actually let go of the hooks from those control systems, from those consciousness grids, okay, and we reclaim another level of our quantum for our own purpose in the here and now as impeccable infinite beings in a biosuit having a human experience. And the more we reclaim of ourselves, and this in the old paradigm, this would be understood as soul retrieval, but you can do soul retrieval not just traveling through the underworlds or traveling through the histories. You can also use soul retrieval throughout the galactic planes and beyond. So we can quite literally unplug ourselves from the horrors of the Orion Wars, of the different mechanisms that have been splitting us off for eons of time. So as we reclaim all those pieces, we transmute and transform and reach another level of consciousness. Now we're in another level of consciousness where the satanic stuff or the mind control manipulation, we're not susceptible to that as much or at all. And because there are others of us doing that work as well, as a collective, okay, as a collective awoke to those other levels, we are anchoring in a new consciousness grid, okay, one of higher consciousness, of I'd say deeper levels of awareness of who we are as infinite cosmic beings in a biosuit. Okay, and this is where you start getting narratives of people realizing the control systems is a vast interdimensional empire that goes across many galaxies. Okay, that's the level that we're awake to, and we understand these human mechanisms are out there that are plugged into those other control systems. Now, you have to wake up to this in your own time, step by step by step. And that's why digging deep down these rabbit holes are very activating for people, Now, what happens is that we might get lost in that for a while, and we are suffering. We're in despair. We're in pain. We're in heartbreak. Okay. But this is to help. This seems like, why does it have to be so terrible? But really, the terrible part is prolonged because we're not in our bodies. So the more we can feel these things and let ourselves feel it until we get to the other side within ourselves, all that energy from all those lifetimes from the Akasha interdimensionally and beyond all moves through us. And now we are that much more solid in our being. And doing so, we also activate our DNA dance that can embody more of our quantum. Okay, so this is why it looks like that. And now there's other pieces to this too, but I feel like dear sister Starshine that was asking this question. I mean, you've been, when I feel into it, you've been dedicated in your process, right? And sometimes we, expect a certain level of achievement with so much dedication. Okay, but it takes as long as it's going to take. What I like to explain to folks in the academy is that we want to get to a place where we can know our pain and our love at the same time. And when you can have these two spheres, these two zones of reality activated in your awareness at the same time, the love starts to dissolve and transmute the pain. Okay, so as you're feeling the pain, as you're feeling the depression, the despair, as you're feeling all these frequencies, the infinite love frequency turns into a flame, such as what Rumi talks about in his poetry, and it combusts these feelings. So you're not feeling them just to spin in a hamster cage, you're feeling them to get into a different, deeper place within yourself. And the more we can embody our interdimensional nesting dolls of who we are all the way, 15th, 16th, 20th dimension and beyond, right? As we can embody more of those dimensional aspects of who we are inside of our physical body, we are transforming this realm. We're transforming this realm by our doing our inner work. And then there's others that are also doing that work. And together we create new potentials that wouldn't be available in this realm without us being here in the way that we're being here. So if it's easier for someone just to hand the responsibility to some God outside of themselves and wait for the rapture to come, that's a choice. Just know that that's not a choice that is taking responsibility for who you are as a multidimensional being. You are still handing the responsibility and sovereignty over to another being that's claiming to be your creator. As an infinite being in a biosuit, we recognize that we are infinite. That means no being created us. We have always been so. And this is a difficult sometimes for people to really digest that, because it goes against a lot of belief systems. Even in the light worker world, it goes against a lot of belief systems. But as you wake up to this as an actual truth that's living and breathing inside of you, it actually creates a lot of clarity to these pieces. And you can recognize the demonic stuff is also creation, forgotten itself. Okay, you transcend the need for an enemy. So it is no black against white or negative against positive. It's none of those things. We are outside that sphere. And because we are outside that sphere of duality, we can use our awareness to transform and transmute everything within that reality. So unification is possible. We are creating spheres of potential that wouldn't otherwise be here without our awareness. So to me, that is what a sovereign multidimensional human does. Our capacity, our very awareness of being here transmutes things. So Gosh, I hope this is a helpful explanation, dear Starshine. And I feel your sincerity, and I feel how, sometimes we keep showing up, and sometimes we just feel tired, And it's just that, when we're focusing on these different zones, we need to make sure we're resourcing inside of ourselves. So when we go into these zones that are really heavy, we don't get lost in the battle. We don't get lost in the battle of making sure the light overcomes the darkness, okay? Or making sure that the team that we want wins. There's no winner here. It's all together here. Oneness does not mean light and not dark. It means all of it together. Think about the yin yang symbol. It's all together. The darkness is in the light is within the darkness. So we transmute and transform the darkness. We wake the darkness up to themselves so they can have an opportunity to come home, as we all want to do. Come home to ourselves, come home to the Great Mother, come home to who we are in oneness with all that exists. Thank you so much for giving me your time. I hope this was helpful. We'll see you next time. For those of you who might be checking out this video for the first time, if this is interesting to you, like and subscribe in our channel, and then make sure you tune in at 12 o'clock Mountain Time on Thursdays. We have these conversations pretty often, and this Thursday is shaping up to be a very interesting conversation. I'm going to be sharing some information links that are going to precede the conversation that we have on Thursday. I'm going to be putting those links on our Telegram group called Multidimensional Human, and on our Facebook group, Rise of the Multidimensional Human. And if I can, I'll see about getting this on Telegram as well. Thank you so much again. Until next time. Bye-bye.